What's up, guys? Let's just dive straight into it. Let's talk about stacks. Now, what is a stack in data structures and algorithms? Stack is essentially what it is. You are stacking an item on top of another item, okay? Look at it like plates. So you can put a base plate and you can add another plate on top and another one and another one and another one. And that's called pushing. So you're essentially pushing items on top of one another. Okay, and in order to remove an item, you have to pop it. So let's say you've stacked up some plates and you want to remove an item. You can only remove an item at the top of the entire stack. So you can just pop up the first or the last element that has been inputted. So you just remove that one. So that is essentially stacks, right? So let's take a look at it using JavaScript. Now, as you can see here, I've already constructed a class for this, and we've also added some to-dos. So the things that we can do using stack, as you can see here, we can first add an element to the top of the stack. So like I said, you can just add, you can push elements on top of one another. To remove an element, okay, of a stack, which is to pop. And we can view the elements. Essentially, by viewing, we can just loop through the entire element and we can just view them all at once. And to check if it's empty, it's essential to know when a stack is empty. Only because if it's empty, then you can't really do anything. You can't really remove, or you can't really, so just check that. And you can get the number of elements in a stack. Like, how many elements are there? Is there 30? Is there like 2 elements? Is there like 4? And just to clear off the entire stack and just to print out the entire stack of elements. So I'm excited to jump into this. Do make sure that you join the Discord, link in the description. And I'll also link the code to my GitHub so you can go there and check it out. And yeah, man, let's just jump straight into it. So first thing we need here in our constructor is we need items. So our items will be stored in a form of an array, right? So this is the only thing we should need from this part. So now we're going to add. So remember, adding, we will use push. So let's have a function called push, right? So this is just going to get the items, all right, and we're just going to push. We're going to push something though. What are we actually pushing into this? So we need some sort of element. So this is going to get the element, okay? We're going to get some elements, and then we're going to push that element here, essentially. All right, so this is how we add items to our array. So we're going to target the items and we're going to add. So essentially we're targeting the array and just pushing some numbers into this array. This is what the push element does, right? So now we're going to remove some items. So it's pop. We're going to pop some items. Now, popping, remember, we can't really pop if our array is empty. There's nothing to pop. So we should set that base case. Okay, so if our element is empty, so if this dot items dot length, okay, so if the array is equals to 0, in other words, then we should return something. So it's either we can return an error or we can just return a string saying that our stack is empty. Okay, straightforward, just like that. But then if it's not empty, then we should return something else. So if it's not empty, then we're going to remove whatever item is the last item. So whatever it is that's on the top, just remove it. Okay. So that is the removing, okay, of an element. So now let's take a look at the view. Okay, so here we want to take a quick peek of what's in our stack, right? So we can just call it peek. So we want to take a look at what is inside our stack. But again, if our stack is empty, then we cannot really see anything. So we need a base condition again. So if our items, okay, if the length of our items is 0, so if there's nothing there, then we should return our error message saying that the stack is empty. Okay, but then if there is something, then we should return that. Okay, just return that this dot items. Okay, so remember we are using what we call a array element, so we should get the items, the length of it. So we're getting the entire length minus 1 so that we can get the last element included also, because we're trying to take a look at the entire array. Okay, so that's good. And we should also be able to check if this is empty. We've been doing this. Let's just call it is empty. And if our item is empty, okay, we can just literally return this. So if this dot items dot length is 0, okay, that's just it. Just gonna return this. So this will return a boolean. So this is going to be either true or false, in other words, right? And let's get the number of elements, and let's just let's get the size. Let's call it size. So here essentially what we're going to do is we're going to return we're just going to return this. What did I press? So we're going to return this dot items dot length. That's it. We're going, this is going to just print out the size of our entire array. Okay. So how to clear? So since we are using what we call an array, we can just return an empty string of array. So items just equals to empty strings of array. Okay, empty array, just an empty array. Right, and the most important part is to print everything out. So we can just print out the stack like so. So we should have a empty string, right? So this empty string is going to be empty, and we're just going to loop through our entire array. So we'll set this to 0, and I is less than our items, this dot items dot length. So we're going to loop through the entire array and I plus plus. Okay, so we just want to store this inside of our items. Just want to see this one by one. In other words, this dot items, we're taking each and every element and we're storing it in here, and we want to add some space. Okay, so each and every item, what this means is that each and every item that we get, because remember we're looping through the entire thing, so looping through the entire array means we're going to get each and every element on its own, right? And when we get this element here, we want it to be separated by a space. So we're getting an element plus an empty space, element, empty space, element, empty space. But then this will have a problem at the end, because after, like when we reach the end of the entire array, we'll have an empty space there. So we need to trim that out. So in order to do that, we can just return the string dot items dot trim. String dot trim, sorry. Okay, so this means that this will trim out the empty space at the end. Okay, it's important to take note that if we did not add this, then our string will be just concatenated together, so you won't be able to read it properly. Okay, and yeah, that's just it. So now let's try and put in some examples, some usage. Add here the comment usage examples. Right, so we need a name. Let's call it my stack, and let's add it to the new stack that we've created. Okay, right, so that's good, and we can just print out console.log. So let's print out our empty function. Okay, so this should return. Okay, but remember, it's my stack. Okay, so it's my stack dot is empty, because we've assigned the stack to the class, right? So if we run this, we should be able to see true, because currently our stack is empty. Right, so let's call this here. Let's run it. Node, what's it called? Stack.js. Just open this so we can see. Okay, spelled that wrong. So it's node stack.js. Right, so you can see it's returning true, so meaning that our stack is empty currently, right? And so that's a good thing. What else can we do? Let's see. Another thing we can essentially do is we can start to add some elements to our stack. So my stack dot push. So pushing is adding. Now we are adding. Let's add 10. Okay, save this and let's run it. Did the save? Okay, we have to console it. So how do we run it? Console.log. What are we calling? We must call the item. Okay, so it's my stack dot what did we call it? We called it print stack. Okay, let's save this and then let's run it. So we've added 10. Okay, as you can see, 10 is here and it's displaying, right? So we can just keep on adding some elements here. My stack dot push another item, and let's push in 20, and let's also push in another one, which is we can add 30. Okay, let's save this, clear this out, run it. Right, so our stack is now having 3 items. It's 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so another thing we can do is, after getting this, we can also print out the size. Okay, because it's one of the things that we've added. So let's say we want to print out the size. We can just show it on, okay, console.log. My stack dot is it peak? I think we saved it as peak. Oh no, we want to see the size, so it's size, right? Let's just double check. We named it size. Perfect. So we can just save this and see the size. So the size is 3, okay, because we have 3 items. So the size is 3. If we were to add another item here, my stack dot push, then we would see that it would increment, let's see, to 4, because we now have 4 items, right? What else can we do? We can pop something. Okay, so console.log my stack dot pop. So pop essentially removes the last item. Okay, so let's clear this out, run this, and as you can see, we have popped number 40 because number 40 is the last item we have implemented. Okay, right. So if we now run this again, we will be able to see that 40 will no longer be there. Okay, let's save this and let's run it. So we've popped 40 and we are now left with 10, 20, and 30 again, right? So that's it. That's how you essentially work with stacks. And I hope this was easier to understand how to work with stacks in data structures and algorithms. And I'll catch you in the next video.